Good morning, students. Today we'll start with the second chapter of geography, natural resources, land and soil. Last chapter, that is your first chapter, we learned about resources and its types. Yes, in that the first resource was natural resources. Yes, we had different types of resources, natural resources, human-made resources, human resources. So the first one was natural resources. In that we learned about two main natural resources. The first one was biotic and the second one was abiotic. Biotic resources, the living things. Abiotic resources, the non-living things. I hope so it is clear till this part. Now, abiotic resources, in this session we will be learning about the abiotic resources, the non-living things. Non-living things include land, soil, rock, water, air. In this chapter, we will be learning about land and soil. And in this session, we'll be focusing more on land. Fine? Now, let's start with the first topic, that is the introduction about land. I hope so you all are aware about lithosphere. What is lithosphere? It's the solid upper part of the Earth's surface. The solid upper part of the Earth's surface. Suppose this is your Earth. The solid portion, the upper portion or the crust is known as your lithosphere. Is it clear? Lithosphere is the solid portion of the Earth's surface. Now, on your Earth's surface, the 3/4 part is covered with water and the rest, that is your 1/4 part, is land. Is it clear to all of you? Lithosphere is also known as the land or the upper crust of the Earth. Earth is covered with water and land. Yes? 3/4 portion of the Earth is water and 1/4 portion of the Earth is land. It's clear? Okay. In this 1/4 of land, that is around 21% of the Earth's surface, only 30% is utilized by the population. Fine, only the 30% is utilized. The rest of the Earth's surface or the land area is unutilized. It's not being utilized either. It might be in an area where population cannot settle down. Fine. So only 21% of the Earth's surface is having land, and out of that only 30% is being utilized by the population. In your first paragraph of your chapter on page number 49, you'll see in the last 5th line, it is written that hydrosphere covers 71% of the Earth's surface, while the lithosphere covers only 29%. I'm sorry, it was written 29%. 29%. Fine. And in this particular topic, please write one question over there. What do you mean by the term lithosphere? What do you mean by the term lithosphere? Please write it down. Or else define lithosphere. It's already given in your book in first paragraph itself. That is the solid upper crust of the Earth. Lithosphere is the solid upper crust of the Earth. Please do write down this question in your copy, students. Fine? Okay. Now let's start with the next topic. Now, you might have seen that land is always considered to be an important natural resource. Why is land considered to be an important natural resource? It's just because of certain of the factors. The first one is it is considered to be the base of natural vegetation. Any type of vegetation, you take example of tropical desert, temperate deserts, temperate grasslands, temperate forest, tropical forest, any type of vegetation, you would require land. So the first important point for land is it is considered to be the base of natural vegetation. Natural vegetation is the vegetation that grows naturally is known as natural vegetation. Fine. You require land to grow any type of plants or any type of trees, you would require land, and that's why it is considered to be an important natural resources. Fine. Second one, if you are having a good land, what happens? There would be more wildlife. More wildlife would be there. Yes? Okay. Next is if you are having a proper land availability, it will support economic activities. Now, what do you mean by economic activities? See, economic activities are what? These are known as the financial activities or monetary activities, the activities with which you would earn money or else finance. Yes, for example, if I am going to any particular place, there is certain mining process going on or else agriculture is conducted over there. So what happens? This would be considered as an economic activity. For any type of business, organization, any type of industries to be opened up, any type of agricultural purpose to be done, then you would require a land base. Yes, without a land you won't be able to do any type of economic activity. So it supports economic activity. Is it clear? Okay. Fourth point which is given in your book is it helps in mining and industries. Okay, what do you mean by the term mining? Mining is taking out important resources like your coal, petroleum from land. So indirectly you are using land for mining. Is it clear? Indirectly you are using land for mining, whereas industries you are using the land directly for the purpose of setting up a company. I hope so it is clear to all of you. I'll repeat it once again. Land is important. Why so? Because it is considered as a base of any type of natural vegetation. Natural vegetation means the vegetation that is grown naturally, the trees, plants that grows naturally. Second one, it is considered to be a habitat of wildlife. Wildlife, animals, all those things would require some area to live. That is done on the land itself. Third one, it supports the economic activities. In this, you will have agriculture, yes, industries, mining, all types of activities where money is earned, that is only done because of the land, which is considered to be your natural resource. Fourth one, it is also used for mining, yes, and industries. So mining, indirectly it is using land. Why so? In land is having a lot of resources in it. Yes, so for extracting those resources we require land. That is why mining is indirectly using land. Industries, for setting up any type of organization you would require land. That means you are directly utilizing the land. Is it clear? Now the fifth point is very important. Fifth point, we require homes to stay. Yes, we require homes to stay. Now, and for that we require land. In order to build our houses, we require land. I hope so it is clear to all of you. Land is important. Why so? Because it is a base of natural vegetation. It is the habitat of wildlife. It supports economic activities. It also supports mining and industries. And it is required for building our homes. I hope so it is clear to all of you. Fine. Please write down one question, students. Please write down one question. It's the second paragraph. In that paragraph, you will find out all these points that I have explained to you right now. Yes, I'll read it out for you. Land is a natural resource of utmost importance to man and most living beings. It serves as a base for natural vegetation. It serves as a habitat for wildlife. Land supports economic activities. It supports mining and industries. And it helps to build our homes or houses. So write one question over there, that why land is considered to be an important natural resources. Please write one question over there, that why land is considered as an important natural resources. Is it clear? And for this you will be writing those 5 points. Base for natural vegetation. Second, it is a habitat for wildlife. Third, it supports economic activities. Fourth is what? Mining and industries. Last one is for building our houses. Till this topic, I think so it is clear to all of you. I'll repeat the topic once again. Let's go through the topic once again. Land refers to the abiotic natural resource. Fine. It is also known as lithosphere. Then it is also considered as an important natural resource. It's an important natural resource. Only 29% of the Earth's surface, only 29% of the Earth's surface is covered with land. The rest of the part is covered with water. Is it clear? So here we have to write 2 questions. One was define lithosphere, and the other one is why land is considered to be an important natural resources. I hope so it is clear till this part. We'll move on to the next topic. Okay, next topic is various landforms and their utilization. We have different types of landforms. Okay, so different types of landforms means according to the area, according to the location, we will have different types of landforms. Basically, there are 3 types of landforms. 3 types of landforms are there. 3 types of landforms are there. The first one is plains. The first one is plains. Second one, mountains. Is it clear? The second one is mountains. Second one is mountains. Third one is plateaus. Plateaus. Is it clear? The third one is plateaus. So there are 3 types of landforms. First one is plains, second one is mountains, and the third one is plateaus. I hope so it is clear to all of you. In your book, there is one pie chart given over there. Yes, telling you about the percentage of these 3 forms of land. Is it clear? The first one is plains. It is of 43%. Plains are 43%. That is the land that we are utilizing or the land surface that is available on the earth. Out of that, 43% are plains, 30% are mountains, 27% are plateaus. Fine. I'll repeat it once again. There are three types of landforms: plains, mountains and plateaus. Plains are of 43%, mountains are of 30% and plateaus are of 27%. Okay. Now, you might have heard that plains are densely populated. Plains are densely populated. Densely populated means densely populated regions. What is densely populated? Densely populated means it has large population. Why do plains have large populations? Plains have large populations because it is having water availability. You will find these plains are mostly found nearby the river valleys. Nearby the river valleys. Is it clear? We have the plains nearby the river valleys. When it is nearby the river valleys, what will happen? More of agriculture would be there, more of industrial development would be there. So that's why plains are considered to be densely populated areas. Second one, mountains. Now, mountains are sparsely populated. Sparsely populated regions means less population. In mountains, there is always less population. Why there is less population? Because this area, this mountain, do not have an even slope for any type of agriculture or industrial setup. Reaching to mountains itself is very difficult. Yes, soil availability would be less. So that's why what happens, there would be less population in mountains. I hope so it is clear to all of you, and plateaus have a medium range of population. I'll explain it to you once again. There are various types of landforms, specifically three types are there. Three types of landforms are there. The first one is plains, second one mountains, and third one plateaus. Now, 43% of the land area is covered with plains, 30% is taken over by mountains and 27% by the plateaus. Plains are densely populated, means large population is there. Why large population? Because it is nearby the river valleys where more agriculture would be done and more industrial setup would be there. Yes, when more agriculture and industrial setting up is there, what happens? More and more population would be coming in that region. Yes, if I am getting a job nearby a Ganga Brahmaputra valley, of course I'll prefer that area. Why so? Because it is having proper water availability, much better climatic condition would be there. Plains are there. Plains are always having even characteristics. Plains are always having even characteristics. So if I want to open up with the industry, I can open up an industry in plains area much better than the mountain region. Clear? Than the mountain region, I can open up an industry in a much better position on plain region. That's why you have a densely populated area in plains. Fine. Whereas mountain area, you'll find there is always a slope. Yes? Always a slope would be there. So, setting up an industry over these regions or starting up with an agriculture is a bit difficult part. Is it clear? Starting up with the agriculture or industries is a bit difficult part, and along with that you won't have proper water availability. Even if you're having water availability, you won't be able to do a proper type of agriculture over here. So what happens? Mountains always have sparsely populated regions. Also, along with this, you have much more good transportation facilities in plains. Whereas in mountains, you will find less of transportation facilities. Clear to all of you? Shall we continue? Please write down two questions in this particular topic. First question, why plains are densely populated? Second question, why mountains are sparsely populated? Sparsely means less population. Sparsely populated. Is it clear? Why plains are densely populated and why mountains are sparsely populated. It is given on page number 49. We have already discussed the topic, but for your information, it's given on page number 49 under the topic various landforms and their utilization. The last paragraph, I'll read it out for you. Remote mountains with difficult terrain, uneven plateau surfaces, deserts and swampy land make livelihood difficult, and that's the reason you'll have the land usage very limited. When you have limited land usage, what will happen? You'll be having less population over there. And on the other hand, broad low-lying plains drained by rivers, example Indo-Gangetic plains, provide opportunities for agriculture and settlement. Thus, plains are densely populated regions in the world. I hope so it is clear to all of you. The landforms, the types of landforms, there are three types of landforms: plains, mountains and plateaus. Plains are densely populated, large population is there, and mountains are sparsely populated, means less population is there. Okay. Let's come to the next topic, that is land uses or land utilization. Fine. Okay. Land use. This is your next topic. What is land use? The pattern in which you utilize land. That is known as land use. The pattern of utilization of land is known as land use. Clear? Now, you have different types of usage of land. Various types of usage of land. Now, depending on quality, yes, depending on quality, you have two types of land. The first one is productive land, and the second one is unproductive one. On the basis of quality, two types of land would be there: productive land and unproductive land. Fine. Productive land, as the name suggests, where you can do agriculture, you can set up industries, that land would be utilized. That would be known as the productive land. Next one is unproductive land, or also known as wasteland. See, it is also known as wasteland. Why? Because we are not utilizing it, either because proper soil won't be there, or else we are not able to understand whether for what purpose that particular land is being used. Yes, so that would be unproductive land, also known as wasteland. Sometimes it happens that for certain time duration you cannot use that particular land. Why so? Because of the overutilization of minerals or soil erosion, that land might not have been used for any purpose. That would be known as unproductive land or wasteland. Is it clear? Depending on the quality, there are two types of land. First one is productive land, second one is the unproductive land or wasteland. Fine. Now, next one is depending on the ownership. Fine, ownership is very important. Is it clear? Depending on the ownership, again you have two types of land. One is private land. Suppose if I am having my own house under my name, then what happens? That would be my private land. I won't allow anyone to enter that land without my permission. Yes, that would be known as the private land. Okay, the other one is community land. Community land is like what your society park would be there. Yes, you have your areas where you can go and like temples are there. Yes, temples, parks, these would be considered to be community land. You cannot restrict a person to enter that area. For going for a park, you can't say that you are an adult, you can't enter a park. It's not possible. It's a community park. It's a social society park. Fine. So, next one is the community land. Community land. So, on the basis of ownership, you have two types of land, private land and community land. Private land means land used for individual purpose. Land used for individual purpose is known as private land, whereas community land used for community purpose or for public is known as the community land. I hope so it is clear till this portion. Okay. Now we are saying that land usage. Yes, we have different types of land depending on the quality. We have productive land, unproductive land, fine, and on depending on the ownership also we are having individual land or private land or else your community land. Yes. Now, how do you utilize these land? On what basis do you utilize these land? Whether you are using it for agriculture purpose or industrial purpose or for just setting up an organization. On what basis do you encourage other people to start up a business in this particular land? Suppose I say we should open up a company in one of the nearby areas. This land is very good. On what basis you are saying that it is very good? There are certain factors for that. Yes, there are certain factors for land usage. The first one is very specific one, that is your location. That is your location. Now, if I am saying that nearby a mountain area, nearby Himalaya, a very good land is available, there will start up with a company of what? There will start up with a company of any type of cosmetics. Fine. Is it possible to start up a business nearby Himalayas where the climatic condition and the location itself is very harmful for the other person? It's not possible. Location means you should have accessibility to go over there. Proper transport facilities should be there. Yes, a land where you can reach at much faster pace. Thus, that would be known as the factor of the utilization of land. Next one is relief or the type of land, type of soil. See, relief is what? It includes everything. Relief means the climatic condition. Yes, the type of soil found over there, the type of rock found over there. By type of soil we are saying, suppose if I am interested in growing cotton, then I would require black soil. There are different types of soil. I would require black soil. And if I am going to this region, your Gujarat region, you won't find black soil over there. Instead of that, you will find in Maharashtra area more of black soil. So what happens? Relief is the type of soil, climatic condition, whether that plant would be able to grow in that region. Yes, if you want to grow wheat in southern area, it's not possible. It is possible to, but large production won't be there. Mass production won't be there. Why so? Because wheat require a lot of heat. Hot climate is required for wheat and that is not available in southern regions. So, proper type of land should be available to set up any type of business. Next one is availability of water. That is a major important factor. Availability of water. If an area is having proper water availability, automatically you will have the proper usage of land. Water availability means more population would come over those regions, more industries would set up, more agriculture would be done in that region. So, water availability is required. Then we have cultural and technical development. Cultural and technical development. Fine. So, these four to five factors are there which is important to determine how the land is utilized. Is it clear? How the land is utilized on the basis of the location, whether it is accessible, on the basis of the relief, what type of soil, what type of rocks, all those things would be taken into consideration. Water availability and the cultural and technical development of that particular area. Now do one thing, please write 3 questions in this particular topic. It's given on page number 50. Fine. First question, define land use. Define land use. Define land use. Define land use. Fine. Second question. Second question. Explain the types of land on the basis of, explain the types of land on the basis of, first one, quality, and second one, ownership. Second one, ownership. Is it clear? Last question. One more question is there. What are the factors that determine the use of land? What are the factors that determine the use of land? The answers for all the 3 questions are given in your book itself. Page number 50 under the topic land uses. You will find the definition of land use in the second paragraph given over there. I will read it out for you. The pattern of land utilization is termed as land use. As I explained you earlier, what is land use? The pattern in which you use the land. That is known as land use. Fine. Second question, explain the types of land on the basis of quality and ownership. This also is given on page number 50 itself, second paragraph. I have already explained to you. Depending on quality, you have 2 types of land. One is productive land, the other one is unproductive land. Depending on ownership, again you have 2 types of land, private land and community land. Is it clear? 2 types of land is there under ownership, private land and community land. Factors, they have given around 5 to 6 factors in your book itself. Please write those factors under the third question, that is, what are the factors that determine the use of land? I hope so it is clear till this topic. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Now, next topic is what? In this topic, you will find that certain threats are there. You will find that land usage, we are saying, we have heard of many of the land usage things, different types of private land, community land, each and everything we have heard. But have you heard that this land is not being utilized properly? And even if it is being utilized, you will find that the land is being degraded. You cannot utilize the land for a longer time. Yes, we are using so many minerals, so many extra things that degrade the land. Yes, so we find it that land is considered to be, in nowadays, certain threats are there towards the land. We'll learn about those threats and what all should be done in order to cover up those threats or conserve the land resources. Fine? Okay. What all threats are there? The first one is land degradation. Land degradation. Degradation. I want all of you to write down the definition of land degradation. Please start writing it. It's a temporary or permanent decline. It's a temporary or permanent decline. It's a temporary or permanent decline in the productive capability of the land. Production capability of the land. Fine, it's a temporary or permanent decline in the production capability of the land. That is known as land degradation. Best example, when you do agriculture on one particular land for a longer time duration by using fertilizers, pesticides, yes, and all those chemical things, what happens? What happens? The soil would lose its minerals, it won't have any type of proper humus which would be utilized for the productivity. Yes, there you are degrading the land. Is it clear? So, the first threat is land degradation, which is also termed as the temporary or permanent decline in the production capability of the land. Next one is deforestation. I hope so you all are aware about deforestation. Deforestation is what? Cutting of trees more than required. Yes, you do not have forest now. You are cutting down the trees for your own personal benefits. Yes, you are not planting more trees. Instead of that, more of the plants or forests or trees you are cutting down. That is known as deforestation. Yes, then you have desertification. When there is no forest, you do not have any type of forest, then how would that soil will be able or that land would be able to get any type of water over there? There would be more of soil erosion. Yes, and that would lead to desertification. That would lead to desertification. Yes, please write down the definition of desertification, where the area where a land would become a desert, an area where a land would become desert. That is known as desertification. You will find various areas which were first considered as a forest with a lot of evergreen forest and greenery all over the area, but because of constant cutting of trees and changes in the climatic condition, you will find that area is totally converted into desert area. Clear? Next one is landslides. Ever heard of landslides? Write down the definition of landslides. Please write down the definition of landslides. Sliding of rock or a part of land. Sliding of rock or a part of land from a slope. Sliding of rock or a part of land from a slope. Suppose there is any slopy region, there is a mountain over here. You might have seen nearby the mountains various constructions are there. You will cut through this mountain area, you will make certain roads over here. Now what happens? The land above that road do not have any type of base over there. Yes, you are forcefully destructing that area for your purpose. You are forcefully cutting in between this particular mountain regions. Because of that, what happens? Whenever there is an earthquake or whenever there is any type of disturbance on the earth's surface, the upper portion which is not having any type of base, it will come down. Is it clear? Since it is slopey enough, a part of it would come down. Okay, because of that you might have heard that various accidents have been occurred. It is mostly nearby the road construction itself that these types of landslides occur. Is it clear? Okay, then the most common one, soil erosion. Soil erosion is also a major threat. Why so? Because if soil erosion is there, that is the removal of topsoil, you won't be able to have any type of agriculture. If there is no agriculture, nothing can be done. Clear? Is it clear to all of you? The major threats to the environment is land degradation, deforestation, desertification, landslide, and the fifth one is soil erosion. Major threats are land degradation, deforestation, desertification, landslides, and soil erosion. Okay. Since we are saying that these are the major threats, what should be done? We are saying land degradation is there, deforestation is there, landslides are occurring, soil erosion is there, and we are also using these desertification terms also. What should be done in order to conserve our land resource? Why should we conserve our land resource? Why should we protect it? The main reason to protect these resources is so that our future can also use it. Our present as well as our future would be able to use our resources. So that is what is known as conservation of resources. Conservation means utilizing the resources in such a manner that we can also use it as well as the future generation would also be using it. Yes, if we utilize the whole of petroleum within the coming 10 years, what will happen after that? How will the people travel? They also require petroleum. Yes, for that what should we do? We should utilize it in a manner, the petroleum should be utilized in such a manner that the future generation, that is after 10 years also the generation should be able to utilize it. So, conservation of land resources is basically done because you have the increase in population on a daily basis. Fine. Now, you all know that 29% is of land on the earth's surface. That means land is fixed. Yes, land is fixed. You cannot change the land. Why so? On earth's surface, you will find the same amount of land. You cannot increase the size of the earth's surface. Earth's surface size would be same, so the land usage would also be fixed. But what happens? There is always an increase in the population. Yes, there is always an increase in the population. Yes, so when there is an increase in the population, that means more and more land is required. Nowadays, you might have seen so many constructions are done. Here and there, you will find one or the other flats would be there, houses would be there, independent houses would be there. From where they are able to do this, they are utilizing the land, the fixed land. Yes, when you are utilizing the fixed land, what happened? The area for agriculture won't be there. Wheat, rice, pulses that you require for your daily basis, that won't be available. You won't be getting any particular food. You won't be able to have any type of forest. Plants won't be there, trees won't be there. So what we have to do? We have to conserve our land. We have to utilize our land in such a manner that we can utilize it as well as our future generation can utilize it. Is it clear? Okay. So what should be done? What should be done in order to conserve the land? The first thing is afforestation. Afforestation. Fine. Afforestation means planting of more and more trees. If you are cutting down one tree, you should plant in place of that tree 10 plants. Yes, the ratio should be always 10 times. If you are planting more trees or more plants, what will happen? Even the future generation would get the fruits of those plants. Is it clear? We can utilize those land resources only on the basis of afforestation, that is planting of more trees. The next topic is utilization of more chemical properties. How you will utilize more of chemical properties? Chemical properties means the minerals, the humus that is available on land, you should utilize it. More of organic manure should be utilized. Fine? You can write over here, utilization of organic materials on land. Organic materials on land. There is one term given over there, land reclamation. Please write down the definition of land reclamation. Process of making land. Process of making land suitable for intensive use. Process of making land suitable for intensive use. That means more and more of organic materials should be there. Organic materials should be utilized so that more and more organic materials should be utilized so that the land could be utilized for a longer time duration. Fine. The last point that is given over there, checks on overgrazing by animals. Now suppose animals are there, you have a pasture land, there also you have to see that if you are continuously using that same land for grazing purpose, it would destroy the productive level of that land. Is it clear? Fine. Now, chemical pesticides and fertilizers should be utilized in a less portion, whereas organic manures and organic materials should be utilized. More of traditional methods should be focused on. We will recap with that land topic. Next session we will start with the soil topic. I hope so this land topic is clear to all of you. We will revise the topic right now. Okay, we started with the topic of natural resources, land and soil. Fine, we had started with the natural resources. What is natural resources? The resources that are available in the nature is known as natural resources. In this chapter, we are learning about the abiotic resources. Abiotic resources is the land. We started with the land. The first one is abiotic resources. Yes. Then we studied about lithosphere. Lithosphere, the solid upper crust of the earth's surface. Yes, which is only 29% of the earth's surface. I hope so it is clear till this portion. Next we learned about why land is considered as an important resource. We learned about various types of importances. First, that it is considered as a base for natural vegetation. Second, it is the habitat of wildlife. Third, it is a source of economic activities. Then minerals and industries would be set up over there. And last one, for building our own houses. So, our land is an important natural resource. Then we learned about the various landforms. There were 3 types of landforms. If you all remember, we learned it right now itself. 3 types of landforms were there. One was plains, mountains and plateaus. Plains are covering 43%, mountains 30%, plateaus 27%. Plains are densely populated. Why so? Because it is always nearby a river valley and it has an even distribution of land. Mountains are 30%. Why 30%? And it is also having sparsely populated region. Now, sparsely population means less population on mountains. Plateau is covering only 27% of the lithosphere. Then we learned about the different types of land. This was of landform. Types on the basis of utilization also we learned. Types of utilization also we learned. On the basis of quality, there were 2 types, that was productive and unproductive, and on the basis of ownership also we learned that was private and what? Private and community land. You had certain threats also. We covered this topic also. Threats were land degradation, yes, desertification, deforestation, soil erosion. These were the threats, major threats to the environment. We also learned one more topic I forgot over here, types of utilization. We also learned about the factors that determine the use of a land. Around 5 to 6 factors were there, the location, relief, water availability, that was the factors of land utilization. Threats we have covered up. Last one was the conservation. How you are going to conserve the land resource? The conservation of land resources can be done. The first thing can be done is afforestation. Afforestation means planting of more trees. Then you can utilize more of organic material rather than utilizing those chemical products. Yes, chemical pesticides and fertilizers should not be used. You can use land reclamation. Land reclamation means you can change a particular area in such a way that you can utilize it for further purpose. Then last one was to check the overgrazing of animals. By animals, why? Overgrazing of animals, if you are grazing in one particular region, then again you are destroying the productive level of that particular land. Is it clear to all of you? Is it clear to all of you, all the points? It is an abiotic resource. Abiotic are the non-living things. It is a part of lithosphere, which is covering 29% of the Earth's surface. It is an important natural resource. It has 3 types of landforms: plains, mountains, plateaus. It has around, depending on 2 bases, you have the types of utilization: quality and ownership. Quality, you have productive as well as unproductive one, and ownership, you have private land and community land. We learned about the threats. Threats are what? Threats are your land degradation, deforestation, yes, soil erosion. These are your threats. And how you would conserve it? Conservation would be done on the basis of afforestation. Yes, I'll write the topic over here once again. 3 types of landform. And types on the basis of utilization. On the basis of utilization. Clear? We will continue with the next topic, that is your soil, in the next session. If there is any doubt, you can WhatsApp me or you can mail me. You all have my WhatsApp number as well as my email ID. So if you are having any doubts, we will convey like that. Fine? Clear? Thank you. All the best.